Awesome. Okay, we are live on YouTube. Thank you all for coming into another website, or sorry, another community committee meeting. We have a fairly straightforward agenda today, which is awesome, but we'll kick it off first with initiative check-ins. We'll just go down the list here. Do we have Ben on the line? I don't know if I saw him. No? Okay.
Ben Mitchell.
Anybody want to give an update on I-18N initiative or skip for next time? Okay, for next time then. Mentorship. Dan or
is Ahmed on?
Ahmad? I don't believe so. Didn't see him call it.
I will share then. Hold on. Instructing. All right. So we are sorry. I'm dodging PayPal orientation to get this in.
Thank you.
Right. So we have our next mentorship meeting tomorrow. Dealing with a bit of an issue where Ahmed hasn't been available, and we need to kick off the second call. The mentorship team is in a bit of need of help and support. If anyone has any cycles, to help coordinate this this next cohort and get that rolling. So if you're available, we'll be meeting tomorrow at 9. Zip it.
Tomorrow at 9. Cool.
9 a.m. Pacific time. Sorry.
Yeah. Dan, I'll throw that on my calendar and try to make a point to be there. I'm not sure if I have conflicts yet, but I'll come join and help out. But I would like to ask anybody else on the call or anybody else listening in, if you want to help and come run this thing, let's do this. Cohort number 2. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, Ed.
Yeah.
I can continue with the user feedback if you'd like.
Yeah. Keep on keeping on.
So user feedback, we kicked off kind of the second year since user feedback started right after last year. And we had a nice kickoff meeting last week, and we'll begin organizing several different threads. One of the interesting ones is Ahmed Nadri is coordinating with the enterprise big shops basically on putting together some validation workloads that go into the current releases. So when LTS goes live, that sort of large scale deployment feedback is ready and everyone's prepped. So I'm really excited to see that get rolling.
Awesome. And I can give a website redesign update. So we had an awesome PR opened. PRing in, I'm trying to find a number for people because I want everybody to go and dive into it. PR number 105 on website redesign adds about 57 different getting started documentation pages, I believe. So this is Flavio, has very, very generously contributed his definitive node.js handbook article content to the website redesign initiative. And so we now have this giant dump of really amazing getting started content that I would love folks to dive into, help edit. It's already been combed over a few times before he published it over on Medium. So I just want to make sure that for reading it from the standpoint of new eyes, it all makes sense and it all flows well. But otherwise, this pushes us like a light year ahead as far as content goes. I'm very excited. We've also...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say we've also started to talk about technical structure over on the in the GitHub issues. Still very very high level, but we've been pushing ahead pretty well. That issue was breached and opened by two new contributors who joined last session. So I'm excited to see things keep rolling ahead.
So once this PR lands, Zibby, do you think it'd be possible to thank Flavio on Twitter from the Node.js account for this massive contribution?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Just tag me on it and I can easily promote on social.
Cool. Great.
Awesome. And then Bootstrap. So we're going to start doing a regular update on how the Bootstrap merger conversations are going. There is a weekly, so for context for folks on the stream, there is a new repository that came out of the Foundation merger discussions over at in the Vancouver conference. It is node.js/bootstrap on the GitHub. There are a number of issues in flight. We're still working through a lot of, there's kind of two branches that are being discussed right now, two branches of conversation. One is how the group itself functions, how Bootstrap will operate day to day. And what's nice is we're starting to converge on consensus. There's a number of PRs in flight right now for a draft. There's a draft of a staging process PR'd in by Jory, or open PR by Jory, for proposing new types of governance programs. This would be things like a lot of the programs that we ideated and threw up a bunch of sticky notes on the wall during the governance session at the Collaborator Summit. So this would not be the process for charter-like things, but for quite literally everything else, which is the bulk and the meat of what's going to be developed here. There's also discussion around the process by which we're going to start talking about bylaws and charters. And I'm forgetting his name. Ruby's is his handle, Sam Ruby.
Sam Ruby, yeah.
Yeah, Sam Ruby has really been pioneering a lot of this work, and I'm very excited that rather than this kind of throw it over the wall process that was kind of proposed by the foundation, everybody seems to be excited about doing this in an open and collaborative way. And so we're actually going to start. Sam has been doing a lot of work. This is PR number 27. Has this awesome diff of the two foundations bylaws and highlights areas where we're able to, where there's differences, which conveniently are also the areas where we have some flexibility. A lot of this is boilerplate that's required by law from Delaware. But there's a couple places where we're able to customize it a bit. And the goal here is to leave it open enough so that the governance documents that we actually have the staging process and the RFC process set up for are what actually define how this thing operates, because those are quicker and easier to change. So yeah, that's kind of what's in flight in Bootstrap right now. Did I miss anything from anybody else who had?
Just a quick question. I thought the latest proposal was to keep the NF as is and merge the JSF in. So
that's still the proposal
so
from a legal standpoint.
We still need to re-charter in Delaware?
No, but so we're updating the bylaws will be updated to accommodate the new umbrella structure. There will be changes needed for that. The legal entity is staying the same, is my understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. And with that, are there any other initiative updates that we missed or things we want to chime into before starting digging into the agenda?
So I will say that I believe one of the issues, the issue logging ComCom discussion at the Collaborator Summit, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, ComCom discussions, issue 399. Jem said +1 to office hours, and they'd be happy to help facilitate. I'm happy to help contribute too, but I would just like to suggest people go look at that. And if there's anything, in that, it's pretty light. But if there's anything in that issue that you'd like to help with or contribute to, or help get started, please feel free. So yeah, just the general awareness thing of like, there's probably some initiatives in there.
Awesome. And I'll ping Jem offline to get office hours kicked off.
Cool.
I think that's an awesome thing to start coalescing around. Sweet. Thank you for the call out. Awesome. Let's dive in to our agenda. We'll go top down. I think that's the best way to do it. So we still have issue number 239 from Node.js admin on the agenda here. I believe, Walid, you were looking into this. Do you have an update on?
Yeah,
this is more thorough support for travel fund recipients.
I have a PR open in the admin repo, and I just need the review and merge. So it's tagged in the issue at the bottom. Sorry, I just lost it. Yeah.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Yeah, we discussed this. We discussed this last time. This is just providing some people to reach out to, right?
Actually, yes. I also need the approval from GB. I added the email, her email address, and also from Emily Rove from the Linux Foundation. So is that okay?
To email Emily?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah. So can you approve the PR?
Oh, you want me to approve the PR?
Yeah. It's your email ID.
Okay.
So yeah, Zibby, this is PR number 251. Wally just linked to it in the chat. Zibby, this adds your and Emily's emails to the list saying, hey, if you need some help with visas.
Yeah.
Got it.
Reach out to these folks.
Yeah.
Just so we have a face on visa assistance instead of it just being a dot.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'll approve it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Very cool. Was there anything else we wanted to do with this initiative other than put some emails for support on here, or
I think other thing is like on the backend we have like a few folks like thumbs up, me, Manil, and if like someone has some issues, like if someone reaches to ZB or Emily, and they can just contact with us, or I think anyone in the Concom, if they have they need some assistance through visa. So it's not documented anywhere, but we just know by ourselves that I am willing to jump in a meeting or so if someone wants to discuss anything. So I think that's,
well, this might also be good to surface in the ComCom repo as a service that we provide as well. We can funnel people to the right place.
It might be the sort of thing that, like, if there was a question, it would just be dropped in a channel that has all these people, so people can just answer the question as opposed to setting up like some sort of appointment for visa guidance.
Yeah.
So can we have an email ID, like where we can all subscribe to?
Maybe a GitHub team might be appropriate. And then say, for example, they reach out to the emails that you've listed in your PR, and then the people in the emails would then, if they can't answer the question or they need more, like they drop a comment in the GitHub team thing, which everyone gets pinged on. That might be a suggestion.
Yeah, that can work.
That way people can cycle in and out. But I'm just thinking it's less pressure on everyone if everyone can be kind of pinged at the same time and they can jump in like one single thread. Zibby, any thoughts on that? Like, would that be okay if there were questions that you weren't able to or you didn't have experience with, maybe with applying to visa stuff, that you could you could drop it into a GitHub team and people could respond. Would that make sense for this sort of thing?
I think so. I think the only, I think it would make sense in terms of if it's something that's needed maybe outside of Linux Foundation events. Like if it's a Linux Foundation event, probably the best person would be internal Linux people that run the events and know all about visas and what they can do and can't do. But if it's outside of that, I think that would make sense. I don't know. I'm kind of like not.
So would having, sorry, my internet lagged. Would having you and Emily, on that GitHub team, would that be okay?
I think that would be okay.
Because you should theoretically get an email, unless you have that turned off, when that happens, like when that team gets a mention. So that's a way to kind of do both at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a question of who we want to run point on what's essentially Visa customer service, right? So if Zibby, if you're able to handle all incoming requests, which I don't imagine will be too large, or possibly not, we'll see. Then it might be okay just to have you on point for this, but depending on the amount of people that we're expecting to be incoming, we may want to divvy it out amongst the group. But then again, are we just going to end up pointing everybody back to you anyway? Would be my.
I would say I would feel more comfortable if someone like Tracy Lee and me and Emily were kind of point people, because I don't want to be a clog in the system and they might be a lot quicker to responses. So I would maybe have it be those 3 people at Linux Foundation if we're doing this.
Can we set up a new email alias, like visas@node.js.org, that will go to you 3?
Yep.
So I'm gonna, raise my pet peeve of reducing emails and keeping conversations in GitHub, because it's archived and searchable, and you can refer to it, etc. Unless it's personal matters, of course.
Yeah, so
I would say let's default to GitHub for general advice and fall back to email when it goes into personal details.
So this is more, if 3 people from the LF are taking point on this, and I don't want to speak for Zibby and the other 2, but my general experience has been that email is preferred, and to reduce the barrier to entry for them, or reduce the cost of maintenance effectively, because this is something they're doing to help us at our request. I think that going down the path of email is a totally acceptable thing.
And visa applications and struggles, I would classify pretty strongly in the personal.
Exactly. And thing is that GitHub is already open for the issues and general information. The thing we need with the email is that someone feels confident enough to share some personal information on the email. That's the thing we are doing now. They can already open a common issue with some general requirements if someone wants to. We don't have any problem with that. The extra benefit with the email is that you are directly talking to this person, and then you can more confident about sharing some personal issues you are having. So if it's just I would prefer if it's email where I can discuss some issue with my visa, rather than just asking some random questions on GitHub, because
I was going to +1 the ability to search previous conversations, because we don't want to be answering the same questions, which might happen with visa queries, but I'll withdraw that.
So the thing we can do is
videos
as soon as, sorry. Yeah, you are right. One thing we can also do is, as we get the question generals, we can filter them out, remove the personal stuff from those questions, and just keep adding them in the document. And so whenever someone else comes in, they can read the FAQs, and if they have any more questions, they can then ask us.
+1.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. So Wally, let's hold off on pulling in that PR, so we don't put in personal email addresses immediately, and we'll wait
Okay.
until Zibby. Are you able to set up new email aliases, or is that on us?
Yeah. So what I'll do next is I'll just loop in Tracy and Emily to this and just request that we get an email alias for Node.js. So if there are, major outstanding questions, it can just be filtered to us on that alias.
Awesome.
And I like an FAQ. That sounds really smart. So we're not doing redundant work. But yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. So we'll make note of that on that PR, that we're gonna tweak it a little bit, add an FAQ document, and add the visas at Node.js alias.
Yes.
Awesome. Any more to add on this, or on to the next item? Onward and upward. The next two issues are the charter changes that have been on here. I wish Tracy was able to make this call. I think she'll have the most context on here. I'm actually not sure where, we sent off one of them to be approved by the board. I'm not sure where that vote went. We are still, I think, waiting to coalesce around the other. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we're getting the first one approved, getting that merged, and then we will be submitting the other to be approved. And so the first one, I just want to make we've done this a few times, so I just want to make sure everyone's on the same field again. The first one, I believe, submitted by me, just because I merged it and then unmerged it. The first one submitted by me, PR 384, needs to be as is. That is what has been submitted to the board. And if we keep changing it, we'll keep having to resubmit it to the board over and over, and we won't be able to land it. The PR 385 from Miles is the PR that is by me. And it's originally by Tracy. It's Tracy's content. She did a fantastic job with it. But the PR 385 is using 384 as a base, and then giving us space to go and build out changes and additions to it. I know this is very atypical of how we do things in GitHub, but this is how we have to do things in this context with our charter and the board. So, please respect that. 384 needs to stay as is, and please put any and all suggestions and commentary updates to 385.
Yep. And we should hopefully have consensus by the next board meeting, which I'm actually not sure when it is, so we can present 385 for approval there. It's been up for a very long time. If you are comfortable with the language that's in there as written that Miles posted, just go ahead and +1 the PR or approve it. And if not, go in and make a few suggestions. Does anyone on the call know when the next board meeting is? I think Tracy was also having trouble figuring out when the next meeting was going to be, because I'd love to give a date for when we need this approved by.
So I don't know when, but I've heard comments by Tracy and Miles that if we get everything in order, the board can approve it, can vote on it by email.
Oh, good.
We've gone back and forth on that. I've still not heard a solid thing. Like that has been told to me, and then the opposite has been told multiple times since April. So just trying to make sure we do this how has been laid out and explained to us multiple times.
Okay.
So anyway, I think
if we
converge in it sooner, it's gonna be landed sooner.
Yeah. Let's make this homework for everybody. Everybody go read the PR. If you like it, confirm it. If you don't, comment on it. I want this approved by next meeting at the very latest. 2 weeks is more than enough time to digest it, but let's do it far sooner. Like if you have time today, just dig into it. It's been open for a very long time, and I'd like to get these two resolved. Awesome. Tierney, you had us add. Mm-hmm.
I think Tierney dropped.
Oh no. He was having internet issues. That's a shame.
So
anyway,
I would like to add a tiny follow-up to the last issue. The board has been literally negligent in posting the minutes of their meetings, and they're not going to do it unless we apply, unless we push back. So we should push back and tell them you're obligated to post your minutes. So we don't need to. So we don't have to, bottleneck Tracy and William in supplying us information.
Yeah,
it's in the charter. It's in the charter. We have to do it.
Yeah, you're correct. We'll talk to Tracy about that. And
no, sure so I'm saying we need to go to the board and not apply to Tracy. Tracy, I'm sure that Tracy's doing the best that she can. We need to go directly to the board on that.
So Tracy is our liaison to the board, and yes, we're able to communicate with them directly. But I would like to use that as a proper communication channel moving forward. So that's I agree that they need to post minutes. I'm not aware of where they generally post them as well.
There's a repo, node.js repo, node.js/board. There was minutes from the last meeting. But anyway, I don't want to, so my point is I want to reduce the pressure on Tracy. So if we can find a way to do it without, adding more work for Tracy.
Hey, this is Zibby. I just asked about the board minutes on our internal Slack channel, so I'll figure out what's going on and try to get those posted.
Great. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Zibby.
Thank you, Zibby. Awesome. I think Tierney's computer died. He just pinged me on Slack. Oh, hey, look, there he is. There we go. Nice. Welcome back, Tierney.
Thank you.
Are you on your phone?
No, I plugged my computer in and started charging. Got everything back
awesome.
up.
We're on to 390, which you wanted added. What's the
okay? Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
What was the topic again? Just
individual membership subgroup proposal request for feedback.
Okay. And what's the context at the bottom of that? Sorry, I'm pulling it up.
That's okay. Michael Dawson asked to circulate more broadly. You asked before that, make a read-only version of this to share with the general public.
So there's a doc, we created a doc. Right now, I'm not sure if it's edit mode or not, but it is edit mode. So I'd like to see if we're willing to make a copy of this that's like read-only, that we can kind of share more broadly and try to get more feedback on. Or suggesting, I don't know if you can do comments and view. It'd be nice to have comments, but not editing. That's just the request here is like, it would be nice to be able to share this outside of us in our own echo chamber.
What do you think the audience would be, Tierney?
I mean, sharing it to whoever, each of us or other contributors and collaborators think would possibly be someone who would fit into the profile that is defined in this document. So this could be, coworkers or other friends, people at meetups, things like that.
We could also, I'd want to hopefully format it a little nicer before sharing it super broadly, but we could ping the GitHub team for contributors or collaborators and just solicit feedback. RFC style for it.
Are they going to be able to, is this document enough for them to be able to give contextual feedback? Maybe we can include something else.
Yeah, I don't think the document as is would make sense to anybody who hasn't been in the meetings. So we need some massaging of this doc. Tierney, do you have cycles to work with me on getting this in a pretty state? We can probably just take a template from some other RFC process and fill it out as though it's a proposal. Actually, this is a good chance to dog food. I have over in the Bootstrap repo, I have a PR open for an RFC process, which I'm hoping that we can use for stage 0 proposals for new programs. It'd be a great chance to see if it actually works. Maybe we could write it in that type of structure and and see if it's actually an effective way to communicate a program proposal.
Awesome. A standardized process would be great. It'd make review so much better.
Yeah, that's actually, it'd be good to have eyes on that. That's in the Bootstrap repo PR number. PR number 7. I'll link to it in the chat here. There we go. Yeah, Bootstrap PR number 7. This, I'm going to be splitting up this PR and integrating it in 3 other places, which will all get slowly merged in to help out with general governance. But this adds a new directory for stage 0 proposals and a template for RFC, like an RFC template for new program proposals. So take a look at it and give comments if you want. Kieran, it'd be great if we could like work together to see if this thing actually works.
Yeah,
might be a good vehicle to share it with.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Let's set up some time just to sit in a collaborative doc and make that happen.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and we'll ping everybody and let people know when we're meeting if anybody else wants to join in. Over on GitHub. Sweet. Awesome. And Zibby, I think you had something not on the agenda list, but something that we wanted to chat about.
Yeah. So a couple of things. I help run, I think most people on the call know this, the node.js collection, which is essentially a Medium publication that's all around publishing articles related to Node.js. And I work with a lot of people. I work with a few people in the community to help edit it. I know Wally really helps me out a lot, so thank you so much for your help. And what I've kind of discovered over the last year as we've gotten a lot more content in is we, don't have a really good way of onboarding new editors. I think when I first initially did it, I was just like, hi, I need editors. And now I'm getting some interest from new editors that are like, well, what should I be thinking about? What are my expectations? Those sorts of things. So there's no standard way to onboard new editors. And then I think also our review process has gotten a little muddled. So when we first started, people wanted everything to be reviewed on GitHub or Google Documents and all sorts of stuff like that. But as an editor and writer, what often happens is transferring from like GitHub or Google Docs to then Medium. A lot of the formatting gets wonky and it's hard. And I think we end up spending a ton of time dealing with formatting instead of using the Medium publication platform already that makes it really, really easy to edit and stuff like that. So I have created just some recommendations on kind of ways to improve our processes for just writers and editors. And I know Wally chimed in, but if anyone else on this call has been an editor or a writer and has feedback on how they think the process can be improved, please feel free to say something so we can just kind of get this all cleaned up and squared away and updating our documents. So that's kind of one thing I wanted to highlight on this call. And I'll also tag a few people I know that have been writers and editors to it to make sure we get enough eyeballs on this so I'm not making moves without having other people provide feedback.
Zibby, where's that conversation happening?
That is happening. Let me share here. So that's that.
Folks on this is Node.js, the Node.js collection repo issue number 31.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, I will say the Node.js collection is one of the first initiatives of the ComCom, one of the original ones that we haven't really given a lot of attention or love. So it's a good place to help contribute to ComCom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think, again, we get a lot of people interested in submitting articles, which is great. But again, I think we just probably need to smooth out that process a little bit and try to get more editors on board. So that's that. And then also I haven't filed an issue in GitHub on this yet. I'm planning to do so, but something I kind of wanted to bring up with this group because I think it's worth discussion. Another thing is kind of as we look into 2019 from 2018, social stuff. So I help run, the foundation helps run the Twitter account, the Node.js Foundation, LinkedIn page, and we have a Facebook page. But for the Twitter account, I think something that I've heard from a few folks is how can people be more vocal, get more content on the Twitter account? And I know a lot of people send me stuff just directly on social, but I'm trying to figure out a better way to kind of manage and get more voices onto our Twitter feed and ideas onto our Twitter feed. So one idea that I had was, and Kubernetes does this, they have like a special email alias where you can submit things that you want on social. And I could easily kind of provide just, an analysis of our social handles and what performs well, kind of our process that we have there on GitHub, and then also have like a, if you want to post something on social, please email X, Y, and Z. So that's kind of my initial thought there, but I also wanted to open it up to this group to see if they had initial thoughts on it, because I know some people are opinionated on it, but I just wanted to make sure, I get some ideas and voices before I kind of submit my my issue.
Yeah, so there was a little bit of discussion in one of the marketing meetings about setting up some type of federated access to the account, so that the specific people in the community who are trusted and vetted by the foundation will also have access to the. So it's not just all going through you. Is that that's funny, Rebecca. Was that more thought into that, or more looking tools to make that happen?
Yeah, so the one thing, so then there's so that's kind of one way that we can manage this. The other thing that the Linux Foundation networking projects do is they actually have co-chairs of their social accounts. So again, it's kind of like, here's our expectations that we want to set, here's our goals of the social channel, here's what is performing well, that sort of thing. And then you have people who want to be co-chairs, they can submit themselves to be co-chairs, be vetted, making sure, these people have positive posts on social, those sorts of things. And then with that, the Linux Foundation uses a platform called Sprout Social, which you can queue up posts. And we would have those co-chairs be a part of Sprout Social, queuing up posts, and then, someone like me would just approve it and send it through. So that's nice in a way, because it helps, kind of have people working with me to do it. But it doesn't necessarily allow a lot of people to help participate in it. It's just more of like if people are like, yeah, that seems like the right way to go there, that's great. But if we want more people involved, then the alias might be another way to do it. Because I know a lot of people do tons of working groups. They need social too. So, that's kind of, there's two ways to frame it. It's really whatever I think. I'd love to hear like what the community is thinking about too. Do we want maybe co-chairs, or do we want more openness and getting more people to submit ideas to the social based on?
I don't know if it would be wrong to have both, actually. Like there are some people in the community who I think would be brilliant co-chairs for social media, who just generate great content all the time, and help managing that would be wonderful. Giving them some authority, extra authority over social would be great. At the same time, yeah, we could do what we do with the Medium blog and accept submissions from across the community, which then co-chairs could also help you manage, instead of the email alias being just one or two people on the marketing committee.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was.
That into Spark Social.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is like the co-chairs could actually also be on that alias to help, reduce the burden on the LF people or the NF people, or whatever foundation people, and get those things queued up in a way that like is written accurately. Sorry, I'm sick. But in a way that's written accurately and like effectively, and like reduce the burden on the NF people. Okay.
So I think maybe in terms of next steps, I'll kind of create a proposal and see what people think about it. And then also, I know that especially with, I'll create a proposal and then we can kind of go through it, discuss it, see what works best, and then start initiating that. Because I think generally, I know a lot of people send me great stuff on social, but I want to make sure there's like a good process so other people can send stuff on social and make sure we have a really nice content that we're pushing out on that channel, since it's a huge channel for us. So, okay, sounds great.
So Zibby, just to track this, I'm going to make a ticket over on GitHub just so we get it on the agenda for next time as an official line item. Yeah, and we'll chat about it next time. That's awesome. Cool, and that's it for our agenda items today. We still have 13 minutes. Anybody else have topics to bring up?
I have the cards thing.
Right, go for it, Jamie.
So, sorry, I'm like in between multiple things trying to take notes for the minutes and do other things as well. So let me pull up this doc. So the Node Foundation started printing cards that are pretty specific to the Node Foundation. It's a general description of what Node is. So it's the one from the homepage. And then, the mission statement of the foundation itself. And then some ways to get involved with the foundation on the back. So I've just linked in, I don't know if I started creating content, but I've started trying to build out this doc to create these kinds of business style cards. So business card style cards rather, to be able to print for collaborators and contributors to share as like a more ephemeral how to get involved. Like, cool, I'm at a meetup, there's 10 people talking to me. Here's a way you can get involved right now, rather than a more high touch, well, you need to go to this repo and look for these issues, that kind of thing. Like, rather than needing to describe it, we can share these physical cards that kind of have a lot of the information needed. So, the front and back are on this page, but, I'd like to kind of try to include things that are more specific to us and like have us write it collectively, rather than, one of us focusing on this and building it out. So I'm going to try to take some stabs at this. I've mostly just carbon copied what's on there, except for, on the front, and then kind of edited it to be something that's more generic toward Node.js as a project rather than specific to the foundation. So yeah, I'd love feedback on this. Feel free to do whatever you want with this. We could maybe try to do multiple versions. So, one for Node Core, one for community committee initiatives, that kind of thing. Just, it's really, I think this is more a function of how much effort we want to put into it, if we want to do this. And for context, I talked with Tracy Lee about this a bit. So.
I was also going to ask Tierney, is the intention then when you have this card to kind of distribute it to people when they're going to conferences and just handing it out? And
right. So, I mean, you and I have talked a lot about how a lot of conferences want a lot from us, and we can't always provide it to them. But we do have, collaborators and contributors going to conferences pretty often. Mm-hmm. I go to conferences, I go to meetups pretty often. It would be awesome to be able to, instead of this being, an official thing or not having anything to straight up hand to people or kind of give to people at these events, have this be a way to kind of hook people in and represent Node.js at these events without having to do something a little bit more heavy in terms of, either getting a sponsorship or, giving a talk specifically on this. It's a way to kind of engage people a little bit more than we already are.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a really great idea.
As a suggestion for links, I wonder if, and I'm pulling on, when I say this, I'm putting my hat on when I organize meetups and like interact with people in person, which is, I imagine, like, well, that's the primary purpose of this card. So I thought I'm going to share. It's way more effective in my experience for people to get a specific ask when they join or like when they want to contribute. So if you were to compare saying, oh, hit up this page and you'll see, figure out where you want to contribute versus, hey, hit up this page and there's a list of stuff, pick one and go for it. So I'm thinking in this would be an opportunity for us to merge all these links that are on there into like a single point of entry. The one advantage of that, we could see if people are visiting it and where they're visiting from, and we could track that to like where our contributors are going and where they've handed it out and if it's effective. Secondly, that single point of entry, we can choose exactly where like we think it would be best for those people to jump in, and those could be changed over time, maybe based on like where we need people to go. But that particular page may be specific to, this is where the people who see the cards just jump straight in and they just get a couple of options that are tailored for them to get involved, rather than a list of stuff that we have already out there that's not really meant for that, maybe.
Yeah, it's easier to change a website than to change 1,000 cards too that we've already opened.
How would we go? Like, I'm totally for that. How would we go about implementing that?
So we just need to make sure we have ownership over the URL, and we can literally have it redirect anywhere we want. So to begin with, because we don't have this implemented yet, maybe it just goes to good first issues, or it goes to the main repo that we want, and then we can change that redirect as we start adding new features here. I'd like that not to block getting cards out, getting like the advanced features for redirecting folks. But because there's a lot of value in having this even without the extra website features, but carving out space for us to save room for that is
to not block the cards coming out. Can one action be we replace those links with the link that we come up with, and that could be a priority right now, and then put those exact links on that page for now?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we really want to, like, if we want to make this the MVP, we can literally create a file in the ComCom that has these links, and then like update them in that file for now, and then eventually move that into like the website or something.
Yeah.
I can take. Sorry, Adam, you were saying? I was going to say I can take the task of just creating a static site and just deploying it. It won't take me long. I'll probably use, it won't take me long to do something like that, and then we could host it, and then it could just actually be on a URL as opposed to GitHub. I imagine GitHub just tends to put people off.
Yeah. So I believe somebody gave me access to the Foundation website WordPress stuff. So I can see if it's easy to add just a top level URL that will redirect anywhere I tell it to, like where I think WordPress does that pretty straightforward. So we can redirect to what you set up over on GitHub, Neil.
If anyone makes like the static content, adding it to the org's website is a snap. I can follow that up.
And for what it's worth, I realize I didn't necessarily make this entirely clear. So the Foundation has already made these cards that are like images here. I just pulled these out of the PDF that Tracy sent me. The ones that I am proposing we make are actually different to these ones. They're not the Foundation specific ones. I just wanted to be sure that I was clear there.
These are the ones I remember being on the table by the corner.
Those are the ones that already exist, and I'm suggesting we make new ones that are more specific to contributing or getting started.
Can I volunteer to help with design there too? We could make them a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sweet. Does that mean it sounds like a list of? Oh, sorry, Refak?
No.
I was going to say this sounds like we have a list of action items. I'm going to start putting them in the minutes, but no need to interrupt the discussion.
I have two tiny follow-ups. One is there a budget for this? Like, how do we get them into the real world? And the second one is maybe think a little bit, a tiny bit more swaggy. I love cards, but like a sticker is also fantastic, and it's not that much more expensive. especially if we have like the one link, contribute.
Why not both?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I think
like that
as well.
Yeah. So I believe, and Zibby, correct me if I'm wrong, the right person to talk to for actually getting stuff printed is Tracy Lee. And my understanding of that is if you want swag, we'll make it. So yeah, we just send the ask and we'll get it.
I would say let's make these cards, and I think it sounds like something we can easily bake into our marketing budget. So we should just anticipate how much we think we'll need, how much swag that is, and just make sure we have like a good range of a number so we can just have it as a tag or an item in the marketing budget. But I'd say just kind of work with Tracy on that, and she can easily get everything formulated and help out in that stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. And Tierney, do you mind if I put you on the hook here as project manager for this and make sure it moves forward?
Go ahead.
Awesome.
It's gonna be weird doing that. Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. Thank you. Cool. We have 2 minutes left in the meeting. Any other things to chat about? Yes, no?
Nope.
Awesome. Good conversations, y'all. Thank you, everybody over on YouTube. And let's see if there's any. Sorry, I always forget to do this. Let's see if there's any comments on the YouTube channel before signing off.
Better than I am at it, because I almost never did it.
Nitesh, yes, we do answer questions in there. Sorry, we didn't check it in time. Just a bunch of people saying hi right now. So hi, everybody, and bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Okay.
Bye.